Oh my goodness. It is literally the last week of the NFL season already.
Mm-hmm.
We are here. It's week 17. We're still here to break it all down for you, okay? Lots to talk about. Let's get straight to it.
Welcome to the FantasyLand Football Podcast.
Hello.
Wow.
Hello. Welcome. Oh my goodness.
Week 17.
I can't believe we've made it. It's sad, but it's also exciting. You and I have been talking about the offseason a little bit, and
Yeah.
I actually get really excited thinking about the draft and what we have planned for the offseason. So as much as it is sad that one chapter closes, wow, so poetic.
Year
Another
2.
one opens. Yeah, that's right. We're pretty excited to be here with you today. Thanks for joining in. It is Wednesday, the 30th of December.
It is Wednesday, my dudes.
And that means that tomorrow is New Year's Eve.
Look, we made it. 2020. I mean, what a year! It's been a hell of a year.
Could you imagine? Here's my scenario, right? New Year's Eve. We're counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year. And then it says January 1st, 2020 on everyone's phones. And the government is just in our heads completely. The vaccine is a chip that's going to track us everywhere we go. 2020 is just a year. It's time doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because of 2020. Anyway, we obviously have started the podcast talking about football. If you're new, this is a fantasy football podcast. Welcome in. I'm Zach. This is Badaki. We're excited for 2021.
Yeah.
Lots of great things ahead. It was a great first year. But anyway, let's get to some news.
What is going on here?
All right. Need to know news. What is going on in the National Football League? Not tons, but there is some to talk about. This will obviously, there'll be more throughout the week to chat through. But one of the most talked about stories is the Jared Goff situation.
Yeah.
Jared Goff's thumb looks like he actually went into a surgery. He won't play again this year.
Wait,
Is that right?
I haven't heard. That has not been confirmed for me yet. I'm still waiting on.
Well, he did have the surgery.
Yeah, he did have surgery. I think if they do make it to the playoffs and how long they can make it in the playoffs, I think he still has a chance to play in the playoffs.
Okay, yeah. You're right. There is a chance that he comes back.
Yeah.
That thumb is going to be really, really difficult because that you're literally gripping the ball. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Blake Bortles was signed from the practice squad. And then Cooper Kupp was placed on the COVID list. So not a great week for the Rams who need a win this week.
Yeah, they definitely need to win. There's a bunch of scenarios that we just don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're coming here to listen to scenarios, we don't really. I mean, like, once again, there's so many. We can't really break everything down. But there is a scenario that the Rams don't make it to the playoffs, and Blake Bortles or whoever is the backup for the Rams probably freaking can be in the playoffs. Can play in the playoffs.
Yeah. You never know. It'll be interesting to see. If you're listening, you've probably got either two scenarios. You've got a championship game that goes for 2 weeks and combined points. So week 17 really matters. Or your week 17 is your championship. Or scenario number 3, you just love the podcast. Big shout out to you.
Shout out to you.
So this is all information that you do need to know. Bucks, from what we've heard, Bruce Arians said we will be playing to win. They are fighting for the 5 seed, which means, from what we understand, no one will be sitting for the Bucks, which is good news for fantasy.
That's good.
However, Big Ben apparently is going to rest, which is bad news for almost any Steeler option this week, isn't it? I mean, who could you trust without Big Ben back there?
Look, not much, and I think I'm really hesitant on starting any Steelers, which we will talk about later on in the podcast. There's going to be a lot of people that we're going to be hesitant about. And look, we probably really won't know what their game plan is until the day before. Obviously, it's New Year's. They have the day off. I think they have New Year's. I think they practice New Year's Eve, depending on the team. They're off on New Year's Day, and then they have another day of practice, and then the game. So we won't know until the day before. So stay tuned with us on that for sure.
Yep. Cole Beasley is week to week with his injury, and the last thing to note is Ronald Jones was activated from the COVID reserve list. He will probably play this week, which is good news if you own him and you need him. Hey guys, the best way to keep up with all things fantasy football or NFL is to follow us on our social media accounts. Instagram is at FantasyLand Football. Twitter is at FantasyLand_FB. You can watch the podcast on YouTube, subscribe and hit the bell. And you can listen on any podcast platform in the world. So, we're going to be breaking down all the games for you for Week 17 in one podcast again.
Wow.
We got some family to be with. It's New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Day coming up. So we figured, why not cover it all right now so we can hang with our family and you still have what you need to win your Week 17, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, we're going to go through some of them quick, but we're going to break it all down. Let's start with some matchups.
Excuse me, can I touch you for a minute? Excuse me, can I touch you for a minute?
All right, 16 matchups. No Thursday night football. No Monday night football either.
No.
Weird.
It's a lot. Now we're gearing up for the playoffs. Last regular season game. There's going to be Saturday football every weekend, technically, leading up to the Super Bowl. But look, first game of the day, 6-9 Vikings at the 5-10 Lions. I guess this is, I like to think of these last games of teams that are not going to make it to the playoffs as evaluation games.
Yeah.
This is, what is Matthew Stafford really going to do? What is Marvin Jones really going to do? Is he going to be with us next year? There's a lot of talks. Matthew Stafford might not. They could be moving on. And
I'd love for him to go to Washington.
Oi, I don't know. There was another quarterback that was like he could move on. I forgot who it was, but Matthew Stafford was one of them. I'll probably think of it in.
What? Like, I like Alex Smith, but in my head, if we just had like an average to above average quarterback that's in like their early 30s, I think that our team could win the division like most years with the defense that we currently have.
Yeah.
I don't know if the draft is the right way to go for a quarterback with where we currently sit if we're not going to get one of those top tier guys.
The other guy was Carson Wentz that I thought for you guys.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but the money's too big.
I mean, look, once again, we're not even freaking talking about these teams.
We're already too excited for the offseason.
Look, Viking side of the ball, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen are the guys that you're starting. If they are playing, you play them. I'm not really thinking about starting anyone else. We're going to be...
Not Irv Smith? Because I don't think you should, but I mean, some people will be asking that question.
I don't think you should, but I think once again, this is evaluation games. They're going to see if Irv Smith is going to be a guy that they can utilize down the stretch. I don't really know his contract agreement, how long he's going to be there for, but I think Irv Smith could be a good asset. I mean, look out for him. Once again, if you love football, this is all evaluation games. We're going to go through these games really fast if there's no one else that we can really think of. Lions side of the ball, DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson are the guys that I'm starting. If you want, you can start Marvin Jones as well. But obviously, if you are in the playoffs, you start your starters. You don't want to take a chance. I'm not, if you're in the playoffs, I'm not telling you with confidence to start Irv Smith. Okay? If you're in the playoffs, I'm not telling you, with confidence to start Marvin Jones either. You start your starters, the same concept, the same, I guess mindset. You need to get guaranteed points.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, the reality is, guys, you're going to have to stay close to your individual players this week to find out if they're going to be having a full game only a half if they're not going to play.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a lot of information, and it's going to change every day. This matchup seems like a hit matchup. It seems like both of these teams will play, from what I believe. It's not if there's a hit or miss, Mark, I think this is a hit matchup. Both of these teams will probably play.
Yeah.
Not much to rest for.
Ooh,
all right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The team that you're about to say, the Falcons, Matt Ryan to Washington. He's a bit older, but
I don't hate it because I think he could, we just need someone competent. It's just they put in, okay, I don't want to talk about Washington just yet. We're going to talk about them later. You get me too excited. All right, the 4-11 Falcons at the 10-5 Buccaneers. My must starts for the Falcons, Calvin Ridley and Hayden Hurst, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hayden Hurst, this last game is what we really thought his ceiling was for every game this year. I mean, that's the guy you drafted. You expected him to be this Austin Hooper-esque type player this year. The last 2 weeks, he's got it done. I think you can play him again this week against Tampa Bay. They give up the 9th most points to tight ends.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can definitely do it.
Yeah.
Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate.
Calvin Ridley. Now, my one question, obviously, you're starting Calvin Ridley, right? There's no reason to rest him. And if Julio plays, you play him. I don't know that he plays this week, though. I think they'll hold him out. Who gets drafted first in fantasy drafts next year? Calvin Ridley or Julio Jones?
I still think it's Julio.
You still think it's Julio?
I still think it's Julio. I think Julio... Calvin is right behind him. I think Julio is that guy. He still is the guy. If Matt Ryan's there, Julio's the guy. I think there's a lot of questions if Matt Ryan stays. Maybe all these guys aren't fantasy relevant anymore. Maybe not even Julio Jones.
Well, Julio will always be relevant, but maybe not to the same scenario if that connection's not there. I get it. Anyway, I just think it's an interesting question we'll talk about in the offseason because I think I might be avoiding Julio. These injuries, maybe it has a little bit to do with his age. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
All right, so the Bucs side of the ball, you can start everyone with confidence from what Bruce Arians has said. He says, we will be playing to win the game. Tom Brady, great start this week. Atlanta gives up the 2nd most points to quarterbacks. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Atlanta gives up the 3rd most points to wide receivers. They're a very generous team in a giving season, in a giving mood right now. Christmas season.
It's a lot of giving.
They're giving up a lot to a lot of teams. You can start all 3 of these guys with confidence. I think you can start Rob Gronkowski with confidence as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that you can play either of these running backs with confidence if they're both active. Is Ronald Jones the clear guy there to start? I mean, he is.
I think
but
Ronald
are you
Jones
starting him with confidence?
He is the clear start. You have to start him with confidence. Before that, he was really putting on a show, I believe. I think... Yeah. Let me just pull up his stats really fast. But yeah, I definitely believe that he is someone that's been somewhat consistent. The last game he did bad was against the Rams. The Rams have a really good, run defense. But other than that, 15 points against Minnesota, 17 against KC, 28 against Carolina. We kind of look for consistency. I think you can find consistency with Ronald Jones. I think he's the guy. You need to start him.
Okay. All right. That's all for that matchup.
All right. Look, I mean, this matchup is the 2-13 Jets at the 6-9 Patriots. There's absolutely no one you can start on both sides of the ball, period.
Yeah. And it honestly is just that simple.
It actually is. You're not starting. I know James Crowder went off. You're not starting him. You're not starting Franco. You're not starting Sam Darnold. You're not starting Ty Johnson. You're not starting Cam Newton, Julian Edelman if he comes to play. None of these guys. Damian Bird, Shoney Michel. No. Don't play him.
The GG's, boys. Thanks for playing.
All right. Next matchup is the 10-5 Dolphins at the 12-3 Bills. Lots on the line here, actually, from what I understand. There are so many 10-5 teams in the AFC that need to win. what's crazy is there will be a 10 win team that doesn't make the playoffs this year in the AFC. That's crazy. It's always painful to know that your team had 10 wins and you still did not make the playoffs.
Currently,
right now you've got the Titans at 10-5, the Dolphins at 10-5, the Ravens at 10-5, the Browns and the Colts all at 10-5.
Yeah, currently right now it looks like the Colts aren't going to make it. I think if this is correct from what I'm looking at, it doesn't look like the Colts. The Colts is just outside the playoffs.
Well, I mean, the scenario is relatively easy. Like the Titans, Dolphins, Ravens, Browns are in if they win. If one of these teams loses and the Colts win, then the Colts would be in the playoffs. Except for the Titans, because the Titans for the Titans as well, because they're playing for the division, both of those teams. Anyway, lots of scenarios to break down, but what's good is both of these teams still have something to play for.
Bro,
the Bills...
this is going to be rough, bro.
The Bills is probably the one team that I'm a little bit worried about. I'm not sure Josh Allen or Stephon Diggs will play. If they do, you probably play them because of the talent that they have. But if they don't play, you're going to have to look for alternative options.
Bro, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. There's so many different scenarios. I'm just reading different scenarios on like what happens if they clinch the division, the playoff breach, like all this stuff. Is a lot of information.
It's crazy, man. It's fun. I love that they added that extra playoff spot. For the Bills, Josh Allen, Diggs. If they play, you play them. If they don't, you have to look for an alternative options.
Yeah.
For the Dolphins, I think it's very safe to say that they're going to be playing because they need a win to guarantee playoffs. So, Myles Gaskin, Mike Gesicki are the people I think you can start with confidence. Myles Gaskin, it's clear Salvon Ahmed is not going to take the volume from him. Both talented. Myles Gaskin seems to be the guy they are invested in. And Mike Gesicki, Buffalo gives up the 6th most points to the tight end position.
Yeah.
So, I think both are solid starts, and I'm not starting anyone else with confidence in this matchup.
Say no more. Say no more. I think it's a good scenario, good idea. I'm actually gonna. I was thinking about taking the Dolphins here, but I think the Bills still play. I think Josh Allen plays. I think he plays the first half. Just maybe to see if they can get him that big lead. If not, then they'll probably rest him. There's no need because they've made it.
Yeah,
they've made it.
There's not much to play for because they've got 12 wins, and the only way they could advance. There is still technically something to play for, and that is home field advantage if it was to be the Bills-Steelers in some scenario. So, technically there is something to play for.
The only way Miami can make it right now is if they beat the Bills, Baltimore lose, or Cleveland loses.
Lots of scenarios.
All right, 12-3 Steelers are the 10-5 Browns. It's self-explanatory. Look, once again, the Steelers already made it.
Big Ben's not going to play.
Yeah, Big Ben's not going to play. We're not even sure who else is going to play. You have Juju Smith, Deontay Johnson, James Conner, Eric Ebron. All these guys. We just don't know who's going to play. This is going to be all these guys are going to be game time decisions on who you can start. Maybe you need to be looking for a backup. Maybe Chase Claypool can be a guy if the backup quarterback comes in. He can be getting targets from him. Who knows? We really don't know. But if there is a report that comes out saying that everyone's playing besides Big Ben, you start Juju, you start Deontay, you start Connor, you start Claypool, all these guys, Ebron with confidence. You have to.
But you have to lower your expectation.
Exactly.
Because it's Mason Rudolph in the backfield. And he hasn't been the guy to write home about since last year.
And I think that
the Browns, however, need the win. So it's a safe play for most of your Browns.
Yeah, which is Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, Rashad Higgins. I mean, are you starting Austin Hooper?
I don't think so. I think what's funny is last week, he had every chance to pop off. He had a good game.
Yeah.
14 points was a good game. But that kind of showed me that even when he was the number one target in this offense, his ceiling isn't really high.
Right.
So no, I don't think I'm starting him with confidence.
Say no more. Look, stay tuned for any reports. We'll try to keep you posted on Twitter, on Instagram, to see who else is going to be sitting, who's going to be starting, whatever the case may be, because we really don't know at this point. But the day before the game, we should have more information.
All right, the 6-9 Cowboys at the 5-10 Giants. I can tell you all about this scenario because we are both well aware of what needs to happen for our teams to get in. Badaki, a Giants fan. I am a Washington fan. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
If Washington wins, they're in. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
If they lose, the winner of this game makes it to the playoffs, wins the division. And really, really wish the Cowboys would have lost last week, but it wouldn't have mattered. Regardless, Washington just needs to win one game, and we're in the playoffs.
Yeah, and
so there is a lot to play for here for both of these teams, the Cowboys and Giants. Lots to play for still.
There is a lot to play for. I'm actually, as much as I want the Giants to go to the playoffs just to see them play, I just don't think they're ready. Okay, I think we are a talented team. I think we do have a lot of assets and talent. Okay, if we do make it to the playoffs, it's going to be the first time we made it to the playoffs without Saquon Barkley, which is kind of sad. Number 2, Daniel Jones. Maybe if he does make it to the playoffs, that kind of gives him some bit of confidence. Okay, Jason Garrett, Joe Judge, all these guys have been, in playoff scenarios. They have made it to the playoffs. They've been there. They can lead and they can kind of groom these guys. So I like the idea of a playoff so my guys can have experience, but I don't like it because we're not ready.
Right.
We're just going to go. We're just going to, if we win this game, we're just going to go and lose. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think most NFC East teams feel that way, but you never know. I mean, it's the playoffs. For a fantasy perspective, there's really 5 people in this matchup I think that you can start. That's Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and for the Giants, that's Evan Ingram and potentially Wayne Gallman.
Okay.
Wayne's not had the upside as of lately.
Yeah.
As of late. Can you start him with any confidence? I mean, Dallas gives up a lot of points to the running back, so maybe that's an extra boost.
I think you. Depending on the people, I think I'm starting Ronald Jones over David Johnson or over Wayne Gallman. I'm starting DeAndre Swift over Wayne Gallman. All depends on the scenarios, who you have on your team. I don't think you can start him. I think they're going to try every chance to try to win this game. They probably going to abandon the run. They're going to use the run, but they're going to abandon it if they're down. So I don't think Wayne Gallman will be the right fit for this week.
Okay. Yeah, I think you can start all those guys. Wayne Gallman is a flex at best.
Yeah,
so
at best. 10-5 Ravens at the 4-10-1 Bengals. I don't know if you saw Joe Burrow walking on social media. He had the surgery. He was walking in. He was just walking, taking a couple steps after the surgery. It's kind of sad that we won't be able to see him probably next year. I know he's going to try his hardest to come back next year. He should.
Yeah. No. It's going to be so interesting to see what the Bengals do next year. Because it'll be a team in limbo without Joe.
Yeah.
It really is just a team in limbo.
Once again, this is straightforward, plain and simple. Ravens need to win this game, so I believe everyone's going to be playing. Lamar, Mark Andrews, J.K. Dobbins. These are the guys that I'm starting on the Ravens side of the ball. They have to win this game. I think they will win this game with ease. What's their scenario? Do you know their scenario?
They have to win and they're in. If they lose, the Colts also need to lose. So
they win.
Really...
They win. They're in. Period.
Sorry.
If they win, they're in. Period.
Yeah. If they win, they're in.
Okay. Say no more. Look, Bengals side of the ball. There's not really much that I would want to be starting. Obviously, Samaje P. Ryan went off last week. Giovanni Bernard. Was he hurt? He was injured. Hey, he got hurt in that game.
I don't know what happened with him, but I just don't feel comfortable starting anyone in that backfield.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable starting anyone. Obviously, Tyler Boyd has a concussion. I don't think they're going to utilize him. If they do, I wouldn't want to start him. I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to start him in this game. I think they'll be down early, and I think that they're going to be slinging the ball. But no, I don't want to start him personally.
Okay.
I don't think you should start him. Should they start him?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think we're on the same page. All right, the 1-14 Jaguars locked up the number 1 pick, and they're facing the 10-5 Colts. This is a little bit of a trap game for the Colts because there's nothing more dangerous than a team that has lost all year, and if they win, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they win, they still have the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So every single one of as much as we make fun of the Jags, they are all professional football players. They're all in the NFL for a reason.
Yeah.
So there's nothing more dangerous than a team with absolutely nothing to lose. Feels a little bit like a trap game to me. I think all the Jags play. But from a fantasy perspective, you're only starting James Robinson if he plays. You're not starting anyone else.
Correct.
For the Jags. For the Colts side of the ball, I feel comfortable starting Jonathan Taylor. It's a great matchup for him. And gosh, he's been great. I mean, he really has shown a lot of people who did not believe in him halfway through the year because of his lack of involvement. And he's now a solid start every week.
Yeah, he is. It's really interesting. I'm going to be following closely what these guys are going to be doing for the offseason with all these running backs. They still have Marlon Mack. And I think that I wonder what his contract is.
Yeah, Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines.
Is he in a contract year right now? Or
I don't think Mack is. I could be wrong, though.
I'm just interested in what's going to happen and where these guys are going to end up. If Marlon Mack comes back healthy, is Jonathan Taylor even valuable?
Yeah, it's hard to say. He'll have a role, but what will it be? The only other guy is T.Y. Hilton. Can you start T.Y. Hilton this week with confidence against the Jags as a flex?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just lower your expectations to, anywhere from a 10-point game to a 20-point game. I mean, I think 10 is maybe a more realistic scenario for you if you're going to start T.Y.
Signed a 4-year contract.
When was that?
From what I'm reading here, he said he signed this last year. Could be wrong. I don't think this is right personally. But imagine if they drafted Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack just signed a 4-year contract, either last year or the year before, 2 years ago. They either going to be losing some money or...
Nah, he's an undrafted free agent next year.
Okay.
Yeah. Drafted in 2017 in the 4th round, and he's an undrafted free agent next year. So we'll see what happens with him, actually. That's interesting. I wonder if they probably won't bring him back, to be honest.
No, they...
Anyway.
I wonder where he lands now.
Yeah. Lots to talk about in the offseason.
10-5 Titans at the 4-11 Texans. Texans always fight, man.
Yeah.
They fight, and I think obviously you saw the headlines of J.J. Watt. He's pissed. I think there's some drama in the locker room that he really doesn't want to call somebody out. I think he thinks that's unprofessional. J.J. Watt is a really professional guy, but wow.
Hello, you play to win the game.
You play to win the game.
Yeah.
And that's what these Texans are doing. There's hopefully, as JJ said, still people who care. Yeah. You get to play a game for fun and you get paid millions of dollars. JJ, I love him. I love him.
Yeah. So much to learn from that guy if you are a football player. Titans side of the ball, Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, and Derrick Henry. That's who I'm starting. I'm not really sure if I want to start Corey Davis. I'm not really sure if I want to start Jonnu Smith. I think you need guaranteed points in this game. I think this is an opportunity where, Derrick Henry and AJ Brown this is going to be the biggest playoff push they can. They're going to show that they can compete. This is their last chance for this defense, obviously against the Texans, which is probably not the best, but the defense looks absolutely terrible last week against the Packers. These guys are still my Super Bowl pick. If it's not these guys, my backup, the Bills, which I'm saying now, I think the Bills can make it to the Super Bowl.
Bro. It's the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl.
Bro, the Bills almost didn't the Bills play the Chiefs this year?
I promise you, I feel so confident that the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, anything can happen. That's why there's a reason they play the game. Crazy Corey Davis went without a catch last week. Great matchup. The snow was obviously a factor. But a lot of people started him with confidence, and he dropped a goose egg.
Yeah.
So that was painful for a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think you start him.
There's no trust factor.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not really sure. Obviously, he'll have a catch. I just don't think his ceiling is going to be that high this game. So I wouldn't start him. Texans side of the ball, Deshaun Watson, DJ, and Cooks. That's who I'm starting.
Yeah. I don't need to really make it any more complicated than that. Brandon Cooks was great last week. 10 targets, 141 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Going up against Tennessee, who gives up the third most, points to wide receivers. So it's a great matchup for him.
Yeah, I believe so.
All right, the 8-7 Cardinals. I cannot believe the Cardinals, man. They just were in such a good spot, and then somehow it's just really not gone well. I mean, let's look at their last couple games, right? Let's see. Lost to the 49ers, beat the Eagles, lost to... Or they beat the Giants, lost to the Rams, lost to the Patriots, lost to the Seahawks. It's just they were in such a prime position to get 10, 11 wins. And now their fate isn't in their own hands, unfortunately. If the Bears win, the Bears are in. If the Bears lose, then the Cardinals have a chance to sneak their way in if they get a dub here. Facing the Rams, and obviously it's a great scenario with Jared Goff out. Jared Goff's out. Cooper Kupp's on the COVID list. Can you start Robert Woods still? You probably have to start Robert Woods still.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Like, Goff will be out for sure, but Woods is probably the one guy you have to start.
Yeah, you have to start him. I think
they need the win.
They need the win. I think Sean McVay is also going to utilize the run as well. They're going to utilize tight ends. Jared Everett. And who's
Tyler Higbee?
Yeah, and Tyler Higbee. They were getting some catches last game, and I think that he's going to utilize them. Man, this game is going to be interesting. I believe the Cardinals make it purely because I know that the Bears are playing the Packers, and
I'm not sure the Packers have much to play for though.
No, but still, I still think that Packers are talented regardless.
Yeah, no, this week is going to be so interesting to see how every team plays it.
Yeah.
For the Cardinals, you're starting Kyler, should be fine after that late hit or the hit late in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a serious injury. You start D-Hop, you start Drake. I'm not starting Kirk. I'm not starting any tight end, no one else. I'm not starting Edmonds with my season on the line, so it's going to be a fun one to watch because, man, it means so much to both teams. But the Rams are really shorthanded, so maybe that goes into a mental part of the game. And these Cardinals, unfortunately, have allowed mental parts of the game to affect how they play. So
yeah, I think
it'll be an interesting matchup.
I think Cooper Kupp could have a chance depending on if he continues to test negative throughout the week for COVID. Then he can make his way back.
Yeah.
I think he needs to have 4 consecutive days without having a COVID or with negative COVID test. So I think he could come back, but it just really depends.
Yeah.
Number 11 matchup here. Almost done here, boys and girls. Whoever's listening, we really appreciate you guys listening. 11-4 Saints at the 5-10 Panthers. I think the Saints rest everyone.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas obviously is on IR. Drew Brees.
Are you sure though? Because they have the 3rd seed locked down, but if the Seahawks win, that would make the Seahawks the 2nd seed if the Saints lost. And you know what? The Saints could technically... No, they couldn't get the 1st seed. Sorry. But they're technically fighting for the 2nd and 3rd seed still.
Right. I think if the season ended today...
It's so hard to say who's going to play.
Yeah, exactly. But I truly believe that they rest him. Taysom Hill can do the job. We've seen it before. Yeah. Especially against the Panthers. This is a division game. I think they come out and they still do their thing. But I don't think they're going to start Kamara. Or it's a guaranteed thing. They can't, it's whether or not they're 2nd or 1st seed, they're going to go out and compete. Obviously, they probably, if the season ended right now, I think they play the Bears. That's an easy win in my perspective. But if they played, I think if they lose and they drop down to the 3rd seed, I think they play the Rams. And, obviously, I think you want to play the Bears rather than the Rams. I'm sorry, the Bears rather than the Rams.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out, to be honest. It's such a crazy week. I know we've said it a lot, but I mean, if Drew plays, you're probably not starting him anyway. Kamara is the only guy we need to talk about. If he plays, you play him. Otherwise, you probably don't. I mean, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Panther side of the ball, there's a lot of people. Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Mike Davis, all these guys. CMC, if he plays, which it doesn't look like he's going to. Right?
Just want to take a moment and all those people who drafted CMC number 1 overall, you got 3 games for the entire season out of him. That was it. And I am one of those people. I know the pain. I know how deeply it hurts. My team would have been so good with CMC. So I just want to say I empathize with you, but no. He will not be playing this week. He's done for the season.
That's just unlucky. It's sad. I mean, sad for CMC, sad for Saquon Barkley. They're going to come back strong.
Amen.
Look, Panthers side of the ball, once again, these wide receivers, I'm not really sure who to start other than Robbie Anderson with confidence. He is a PPR monster. I think he scored a touchdown in his last game. I know all these guys are getting touches and looks.
I think Curtis Samuel you can start with confidence with CMC out. He's got a really interesting Swiss Army knife role.
Yeah. I know he had like 20 points last week, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's definitely a harder start against the Saints, but
yeah,
he's a good flex, I think. A good flex.
Okay. Are you starting, if you had Mike Davis and Curtis Samuel, who are you starting?
Well, Mike Davis, just because I know the volume's there.
Okay.
But I think Curtis has
been doing too well.
Curtis is a better start than DJ.
Yeah.
I think. So.
Yeah. Okay. I'm still happy. Me personally, I think Robbie Anderson, if you had to choose out of all these guys in the flex position, I think for me, it has to be Robbie Anderson.
Okay. 12-3 Packers at the 8-7 Bears. Packers locked up the number 1 seed. Great year so far. Aaron Rodgers, potentially MVP, we'll see. Great year from him. We need to find out who's playing here. Honestly, we don't know who's playing. If the big 4 play, you start them. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, Robert Tonyan.
Right.
But you really need to find out who plays because all these guys could sit. There's not really much to play for. So this is a team you really, really need to follow closely throughout the week. For the Bears, let's not make it harder than it is. David Montgomery, you start with confidence. And Allen Robinson, you start with confidence.
Yeah.
Both of these guys are absolutely crucial to the Bears' hopes of making the playoffs.
Correct.
If they win, then these guys will have had great games. So they're the only 2 players on this team you start with confidence.
I agree. 6-9 Chargers at the 14-1 Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Only 3 more matches here, everyone. Look, Chargers side of the ball: Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert, Hunter Henry. I think everyone's going to play here. Once again, this is valuation time.
Yeah.
They're going to see if they're going to be using Mike Davis, if what's going to happen with Austin Eckler, all these guys that they really like, these young receivers. Justin Herbert is going to be playing against the Chiefs, a full game, game planning against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Knowing that he is a starter. I mean, last time he played, the Chiefs were bamboozled. He played a good game.
Yeah.
So I think you start all these guys with confidence. And also just look, really, the Chiefs side of the ball, I personally believe they're going to rest everyone. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, everyone that you think is going to play is probably not going to play. In my perspective, I don't think Le'Veon Bell is going to play. I think he was in and out of the game last week, so I think they want to rest him for the playoffs. I think it's Darrell Williams that is going to be behind him now. He's probably going to be taking the lead back. I don't even know the backup quarterback. I don't even know the backup tight end. I don't know any of these guys.
Yeah. His name's slipping my mind, but yeah. Look, this is week 17, guys. Unfortunately, a lot of your stars aren't going to play if they don't need to play. They don't want to risk any sort of injuries. It just makes sense.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, 14th matchup. We got 3 more to go, including this one. The 11-4 Seahawks at the 6-9 49ers. On the 49ers side of the ball, Ayuk, man, such a talent. He's out for the rest of the year, unfortunately, which means one game, technically. He won't play this game. George Kittle, maybe the only guy you can consider starting.
Yeah.
And I think you can start him with confidence. I think he is a really good start this week against the Seahawks. And then for the Seahawks side of the ball, again, we need to find out who's playing. Are they going to battle for that second seed? Are they happy to rest players and not take any risks on injuring anyone? I think if Russ plays, you can start DK. You can start Chris Carson. I think if Russ sits, you need to reevaluate every option on this team. And unfortunately, when we're recording this, we don't have all this information for you. But if they're going to play someone, it's probably because they're not worried about this superstition of an injury.
Correct.
And you should feel comfortable to play them. But
correct.
That's just information we don't have at the moment. Now, Tyler Lockett is the last guy I want to talk about for this matchup. Man, just so inconsistent as of late. Can you start him at all? I mean, let's look at his last couple matchups. Actually, in week 7, he had a 55-point game. And then weeks 1 to 3, he balled out. But other than that, let's have a look at his performances.
Okay.
Week 4, under 6 points. Week 5, under 9 points. Week 8, under 7.5 points. Week 9, 8 points. Week 10, 11 points. Not bad. Week 12, 5 points. In the last 2 weeks, he's had 7.4 fantasy points. This is, oddly, maybe not someone you can start.
No, I don't think so. There's a lot of people that you can be starting over him that's guaranteed points, like a Robbie Anderson, like a Justin Jefferson, like a who am I thinking
Amari
of?
Cooper?
Yeah, Amari Cooper. Like these guys.
CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you start all those guys over Tyler Lockett this week. Unless, some miracle happens and Tyler Lockett scores 50-something points again. A lot of high-scoring players this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of players who have popped off. Unfortunately, Tyler Lockett just hasn't consistently done that.
7-8 Raiders at the 5-10 Broncos. Really simple. Only 3 players in this game that you need to start on the Raiders side of the ball. Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. Okay, obviously we know Josh Jacobs have been up and down. There's been a lot of controversy about him not getting that one touch in the 1 yard line. All these different things about JJ and, where they're really going to be going. I still think you have to start him with confidence. Don't question it.
But more than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better execution.
If you heard the recap last week, you know how I feel about this. So I don't want to go on a rant again.
Maybe John Gruden needs to hear himself saying that you need better execution,
Right? I mean, yeah. Look, everyone can say it was the right call. But no, it wasn't. You lost the game.
Yeah.
And it's way harder to score a touchdown than there's a field goal with a minute left. So that's all I'm going to say.
And for the Broncos side, Noah Fant. That's it. Don't think about starting anyone else on that team. It's Noah Fant, period.
That's it. All right. The last matchup, and oh my goodness, it is absolutely juicy. They flexed this matchup into Sunday Night Football, the last game of the week, and they did it on purpose because, man, there's going to be a lot of people watching this game.
Yep.
The 6-9 Washington football team at the 4-10-1 Eagles, and it's for all the marbles. It's simple for Washington. The route is you win and you're in. 7-9 team where you win and you're in. If we lose, we're out. That's how simple it is.
That's how simple it is.
Unless there's a tie in the other game. That is the only scenario, actually. I just thought of that. Because we beat the Cowboys both times this year. And the Giants would be 5-10-1. So, anyway, I mean, that's the only other scenario. Look, make it easy, Washington. Get the win. I'm extremely nervous. I cannot pretend I have much confidence. The only confidence I can have is that I know Dwayne Haskins will not be under center. And that
Correct.
brings me a lot of confidence. I was frustrated we didn't take him out earlier. It happened. Let's move on. He is no longer a Washington football team member. He was released by the team. He had chance after chance to show that he was that guy and to show he had the maturity to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, with our team, he wasn't able to show that. I wish him the best. I hope he finds a great team to land on his feet with. I think he still has a good backup career. He has that potential, but it's all hinged on if he can grow as in his character and his leadership. And
yep, I agree.
Unfortunately, you can say, well, he was celebrating with his girlfriend. We make too much of this. The reality is, guys, when you get paid millions of dollars to play in the NFL, you are held to a much higher standard than anyone else in the world.
Yeah.
And you should be. I love what I saw out of the backup, Taylor Heineke, I believe is his name. He was playing really well. I wish he was in to start the game. It's either going to be him or Alex Smith. Now, let's say Alex Smith doesn't play. I still think there's somewhat safety with that backup, with what we saw out of Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
He can fling the ball around.
I believe so.
So, for a fantasy perspective, I think there's 4 people that you can start. Terry McLaurin, if he plays. I'm not sure he does. He has a high ankle sprain. I really hope he plays because if he doesn't, it's going to hurt our opportunity to make the playoffs. If he plays, you play him. Antonio Gibson is back. You can play him. J.D. McKissick still has a great role. And Logan Thomas has been so consistent as of lately for fantasy. He's a great start this week, regardless who the quarterback is.
Yeah, I think he's a safety net. They use him as a check down. Tight end for you guys is a check down. I think that's why he gets a lot of opportunities, a lot of looks. Last 3 games, 7 targets, 16 targets, 12 targets. I mean, he's
since
getting...
week 10, he's been great, except for week 11. He's been really good. He's currently the tight end 5 on the year. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So you can start these guys regardless of the quarterback. I think both quarterbacks have an opportunity to maintain fantasy relevance. For the Eagles, is Jalen Hurts someone you're looking to start against this Washington defense?
Look, I think so. They played the Cowboys last week, and the Cowboys aren't that great. But it looks like Jalen Hurts is this guy. He's a feature. He's very mobile. He does the RPO very well. I think he makes great decisions. Obviously, he's learning about crunch time decisions and learning how to play under pressure. But I still think you start him. I still think he'll get you 20+ points personally.
I love that you said that because we have a disagreement here. I love Jalen Hurts, and I think there is talent, but last week's game, in all honesty, the Eagles should have won that game easily.
Mm-hmm.
And he played a big part in them not winning that game.
Yeah.
He made some pretty bad reads. Those interceptions, he just didn't see
Absolutely.
the defender at all.
I just think that...
And that's something that is scary to me if I'm an Eagles fan. I love him. I want him to do great. I'm not so... I think he's got talent, but I'm not so set in a mind where he's that guy yet, personally.
I think he is the guy because I think he can develop. You know,
yeah, for sure.
He's going to grow and he's going to learn. And he is... This is what I saw. Obviously, yes. I saw that those bad reads and he threw an interception right into coverage, which was completely dumb, or, you know, he couldn't see the guy. But that was him playing under pressure probably for the first time. When I say first time,
yeah,
the Eagles, when they played the Cardinals, not that he wasn't under pressure, but he was just getting out.
No one expected them to win.
Yeah, exactly. And he was just getting out of the pocket. He was moving the ball where, you know, the Cowboys kind of contained him. They sacked him multiple times, and it was big losses too. So like he was really trying to throw that deep ball. He was really trying to do something spectacular. He will learn. I think he will get better for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you see the talent. That long bomb to Deshaun Jackson was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But then you see the little mistakes, and I guess it's the question. It's you know, Daniel Jones and Jalen Hurts are very different players.
Yeah.
But it's always the question, can you fix the mistakes?
Yeah.
Can Daniel Jones fix the turnover problem? I mean, there's talent, but you know, IQ is such a big part of this game. You know, I think that's what Dwayne Haskins was missing, if I'm honest. He's got a great arm. But the IQ wasn't there, so people can develop, we'll see. Regardless, you're comfortable starting him against this Washington team. I'm hesitant. I think he is in the streaming category this week rather than a must start.
Okay.
This Washington defense is great, and maybe it's bias. Who are you not starting because of Jalen Hurts? You know, what's the line for you?
Look, there's not much people that I am not starting. I think Jalen Hurts is a good flex and is a good streamer, but there's no one I'm starting. I'm not starting Jalen Hurts over anyone. I think if you have him on your team and, you know, you make that tough, hard decision, then I'm trying to think of somebody.
There might be, you might have to start him with certain people not playing, but what about like Tom Brady versus Atlanta? Are you starting Jalen over Tom Brady?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not personally.
No, I'm sorry. I'm starting Tom Brady.
Okay. Are you starting Jalen Hurts over Matt Ryan, Tampa Bay?
No. I'm starting. Yeah,
Okay.
I am starting. Sorry, I am starting Matt Ryan. I'm starting Matt Ryan, and I'm starting Tom Brady over Jalen Hurts. Yes.
Okay. Last question then. What about Justin Herbert versus Kansas City?
I think I'll still go Justin. Like I said,
Okay.
there's not a lot of people I'm starting him over.
Yeah.
But you know, like let's say you had a Jared Goff and he got hurt, and
Right.
you know for sure, and you have Patty, and you know for sure he's going to be sat. Obviously, you know Jalen Hurts is a good plug and play option. I'm not starting him over all these guys. I'm starting him, you know, there's not people that you can start him over that are good quarterback. I'm starting him over Andy Dolan, obviously, Daniel Jones, obviously.
Yeah, right. He's still a top 12 option, but you have to really consider it this week.
Yeah.
It's something to consider. Miles Sanders is the only other Eagle you can start with confidence, just because of the volume that he will get. I think Dallas Goedert is someone you could potentially start with confidence as well.
Yeah.
Depending on his injury. Last thing I want to say on the matchups is we will go live this week. Just not sure on what platform just yet.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure that out. It might be Instagram Live this week just because we are traveling and we're with family. So look out for the live. We will post about it for sure. It'll probably still be on the Saturday. And just something, I know a lot of people look forward to that. So we will still have it, just might not be on YouTube. We're still trying to figure it out, but we'll let you know. Stay close to all of our social media accounts. And the last thing we want to talk about is our fantasy football league. This will be very quick, but let's quickly talk about those guys.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
All right.
Yeah.
We had our fantasy Super Bowl this week, and it was my co-host, Daniel Badaki, up against Joseph Dickow, a.k.a. Jesus Wannabe. And why don't I go ahead and give you a space?
Tell
the people what happened.
It's actually all right. You don't have to play the sobby music. It's, why I'm okay with it? Because when I was down, Joe was up by 40 points. Okay, I had Stephon Diggs left. In my head, I was like, the Bills aren't going to throw the ball to Stephon Diggs because they're either going to run the ball or, Josh Allen's going to run it in, whatever the case may be. I didn't think they will score freaking 4 to 5 touchdowns. So in my mind, on Sunday night, I was like, cool, I lost. It's okay. Then the next day, Monday comes over. I didn't even watch the thing is, I didn't even watch the first half of the game because I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna hang out with family. I'm just gonna do.
Sad.
I was sad. I was done. It was over.
Everyone's sad when they lose.
Then next minute,
the chat hyped you up.
Yeah, next minute the chat hyped me up. Oh my gosh, Stephon Diggs got a touchdown. Only 20 more points. Another touchdown. 12 more points. He scores a third touchdown. It's 1.26 points. I was like, I literally said the first thing. I was like, that was his last play of the game. I said it in my head. I told Ellen, which is my girlfriend, like I said in my head, he's not gonna play no more. Like, I lost. It's okay. And that's exactly what happened. So congratulations to Joe.
Literally the definition of pain for Badaki. And you know what? Anyone who's out there playing fantasy football and they're saying, oh, it doesn't matter, whatever, I don't care, you're probably just lying to yourself. I mean, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be annoyed that you got knocked out, Yeah. I was upset. The thing is, you just can't let it go too long,
Yeah.
This is a game we invest into. We like to win. Everyone wants to win because...
Hello, you play to win the game.
But with that being said, we do need to officially congratulate our 2020 Fellowship of the Fantasy Ring champion.
Wow.
Which is a.k.a. Jesus Wannabe, a.k.a. Joseph Dickow.
Man.
Congratulations.
Didn't even trade the whole year.
Yeah, that was the big story with Joe, and I wish we could have got him on. I was talking to him just before this. Maybe we'll interview him in the offseason. I think we will. We'll interview some of these guys in the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely.
His mantra from the beginning was, I'm not going to trade. I'm going to trust my team the entire season. And I thought for sure that is a terrible idea. You are going to be screwed. But he drafted so well. His finishing team, Jalen Hurts was a great find. Mm-hmm. He had a lot of waiver wire pickups. And we tell you guys, waiver wires are so important. And, Joe's team is proof. 3 of his pillars of his team were waiver wire pickups: Myles Gaskin, J.D. McKissick, and Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Really, really carried him to a championship. Obviously, Derrick Henry was someone that he drafted really well. Chris Godwin was maybe not a great draft pick, but that wasn't his fault. Chris just didn't perform this year. But man, it blows my mind that he didn't trade once this year and he won.
Yeah, it's definitely doable.
He just blew the whole system up.
Yeah. I mean, if he plays next year, I wonder if he's going to trade or if he's going to go a different route or go the same way. Crazy. Yeah. It's crazy that he did it without trading, which is, everyone talks about, you don't win it with your original team, which he didn't. He obviously had the 3 key waiver wire picks, but a lot of people get to where they're at by trading.
That's right. Man, big official congratulations, Joe.
Yeah.
Man, it's been so fun, this league. And I'm excited to see what it looks like next year.
Yeah, too.
And I know that you guys have enjoyed it. Man, FantasyLand football next year, yeah, we're so excited for what it's going to look like. So excited that you guys would join us. Don't miss our next episode, which is Week 17 recap. And we will live stream this week, potentially on Instagram. We'll let you know what that's going to look like.
Yeah.
And we'll keep you updated on all of our social media accounts. Badaki, last words before we end the show.
GGs, we're really excited for next year. Check out our Patreon, patreon.com/FantasyLandFam. Just check it out. You know, I think you guys have been hearing it all year. It's a good way to support the show, show love. But I'm excited for next year. I'm excited for all the things we're going to be doing off season. Congratulations to Joe on winning. I'm keen. I'm pumped. I want it to be next year already.
Yeah, and don't go anywhere, guys. There's still so much for us to talk about.
Yeah.
And if you've enjoyed the podcast, we're not going anywhere. All right. All love. And we will see you on the next episode. See you there.
See you there.
Hey, yeah, you, the one listening to this podcast, you made a good decision today. Keep making those good decisions. You know what? Go ahead and do a little dance right now, like no one's watching. 'Cause you deserve it.